We here. Season 2 of the Blocklist podcast. Man, I'm just so excited to be on this journey, to continue this journey and, learn about different people, learn some different things, some new things. Um, yeah, and we here. We
We
here.
here.
It's very, very, very surreal. It's very um, fulfilling to know that I can continue this. So, with that being said, I have one of the best artists.
Oh
I ain't even gonna
man.
say in South Carolina, but just period that I think so in my eyes. You one of my really. I'm gonna
Oh
say I'm
man.
gonna say top 3. You feel me?
That's
I'm gonna say
appreciated.
top 3.
That's
We got
appreciated.
Yyusri in the
Yeah,
building. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yyusri.
Yyusri, if you can pretty much tell them where you from.
Um, I'm a little bit from all over. I was born in New York, Queens, New York. Um, Lived up there for a little while. Lived in South Carolina, Columbia for a little while. Lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a little while as well. So, I've lived here the most. So I claim Columbia.
Okay, so I hear you been all over the place. What kind of made that
That
hop
happened.
around? Yeah.
My parents.
Okay.
My parents. They was kind of all over the place as far as like, where they was living and stuff like that. But I was one of those I was one of the like the Muslim kids up there in New York, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So I wasn't like of New York. I was just
yeah.
in New York.
Okay.
And so we came down here, and once we moved from there, that's where my pops is from. He's from down here. So my grandmother and stuff, she lived down in Columbia and stuff like that. So came here, stayed for a little while, and then I went to school in Atlanta. And yeah, so I'm back here now.
So I hate to just dive deep so far into it,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
said a lot in a little bit of time.
Oh, snap.
I heard you said Muslim.
hmm
Are you still a part of that community, or is it?
Not really. I'm more like spiritual
Mm-hmm.
now than
Mm-hmm.
anything. As a matter of fact, fun fact, like well, Muslim was like I don't say Muslim was my first language, but Arabic was my first language.
Okay.
And then from there I kind of had to like learn how to speak like English and
Oh wow.
so yeah. So yeah.
Man, that's interesting. I didn't
It's,
know that.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's crazy how that was your first language and then you had to learn how to speak
Yeah,
English.
yeah. My parents, they learned how to speak it. My mother, she knew how to speak it and everything. Pops, he knew how to speak it and everything. But then once they stopped speaking to us, in Arabic,
Yeah.
it just kind of went away. I know a few words here and there. Of course, some of the perverted words, of course.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
other than that, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh man, that's something new. Like we ain't never kind of like see that before. I got my man Easy too, y'all. Y'all know Easy from season 1. He ain't going nowhere. He's still here. Yeah, why? Yeah, Easyola the
Yeah,
Great. You
yeah.
feel me? So, like, man, like that's very interesting to know. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
We thinking Goo Goo Gaga is the first thing, but it was something totally different for you.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely interesting. I'll be forgetting about it sometimes because I don't be like sharing it like that. But
Yeah.
like, I guess it's shared now. So
Yeah. So how did you got into art?
art, I think I think drawing was just a part of like, everybody, all kids, they kind of come out and they
Mhm.
just be drawn and it's just kind of like stuck with it. The people that I was around before when I was like, I guess I was living in Georgia or whatever. I guess when I was younger.
Mhm.
Um, we just used to be like around like drawing tables and we all just be drawing and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh snap, okay, it was this person drawing. So it was almost like a competition
Yeah.
to see who can keep drawing or who draws the best thing, who has the comics or whatever. And I just kind of stuck with it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cuz I know you said earlier, when we had to go back a little bit, but you talk about being a creator period.
Yeah.
Like how do you find yourself being a creator versus like just being a rapper, artist as in like a drawer or something like that? Like why is
Ye-
it so much fulfilling being a creator than saying?
Um, I guess because I never felt like I was any of those things, and that's something that actually kind of came about um within the last 5 years, really,
Mhm.
for me to like really be like, okay, this is what I am. Because when I was like up in Philly or something like that, people was like, oh yeah, this person is a painter. But anytime somebody said he was a painter or a artist or this or that, it was always a little thing that was like, well, I'm not exactly that. And then so
Mm,
I was trying to like define myself, like, what am I if I'm not these things or whatever. And so creator came about because I like doing the different things. I like doing the art. I like doing the making music. I like, what I'm saying, rapping and stuff. And I guess because I be just trying different things,
yeah.
and it happens to come out pretty good. So I, that's a good feeling there. But I never felt like, oh, this is what I'm trying to be. I just wanted to try it and then see how it came out.
Yeah.
So
Cause
yeah,
how we use our words are very like powerful. Like I
yeah,
stopped calling myself a rapper,
okay,
singer. I started calling myself an artist.
yeah,
Because we're just not one thing.
yeah.
Like it's so many ways that we can do this thing. So I would rather be classified as an artist than to be classified as just one thing.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
that makes sense. Don't
No, it
put me
makes
in no
sense.
box.
Yeah, get
I
me
don't
out the
just,
box. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna be there when I die. So don't put me there when
Don't
I'm
put me. Don't.
alive.
Yeah. Don't.
So it's
Yeah.
it's it's good to, be those be that
Yeah.
and own that,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Because as you being a creator is like you're owning
Yeah.
who you are, what you do, like,
No,
your
definitely.
thoughts, your ideas. So I think
Definitely.
that that's very powerful in what you're doing and how you say what you do, when you do,
Oh,
how you do.
that's definitely appreciated. Like the turning point really was when I found myself trying to do too much, trying to like
Mm.
fit all those different labels because this person said, "Oh man, you be doing sweatshirts. All right, now I got to do sweatshirts." Oh, this person said, "Oh, you be doing the beats. Oh, we got to do more beats or whatever." And then I had to sit down and like I had like art on one side, I had music on one side, and I'm like, okay, with art, I'm trying to do paintings, I'm trying to do sweatshirts, I'm trying to do animations, I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, that's crazy. And then with the music, it's a whole separate thing on its own. And I just kind of was like, all right, it's time for me to kind of drop a bunch of these different labels that I was kind of attaching to myself. And plus, people was like, oh yeah, you should definitely just like list everything that you do. And I was like, I just start feeling like crazy. I start
Yeah,
labeling each
yeah.
thing, and I'm like, yeah, so I had to kind of realize, like, all right, what am I had to kind of separate everything into three different things, like my passion, like my calling, and what was a hobby.
Mm.
And I really had to realize that music was definitely a passion thing for me. Like that was like my escape. Whereas art was like, I know that that's like my calling to where, I make the money from and stuff like that and help people do whatever they're trying to do as well. And then everything else was like, these are all just hobbies. And once I kind of separated all those things into those three categories, it's kind of helped me with my direction in life.
Mhm.
You know, I do want to like jump into like my passions and stuff like that, but like, it just I don't know. I needed that to kind of help me steer
Yeah.
myself the way I needed to go, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So I recently I don't even let's go back a little bit.
Okay, okay.
So I think I saw you at a producer. It wasn't a beat battle, but it was something for airborne audio. Like he usually do these airborne audio adventures.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that was the first time that I kind of like came across who you were.
Okay.
Um and then it continued, and then I saw you perform at Warner Pound's Jews
Oh yeah, he
Christmas
had the Christmas sweater.
Christmas party thing. And then I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this dude, you know what I'm saying? He alright. Like let me dive a little bit more. And then I went to go listen to your music, your last project that you put out.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Oh
I
man.
was a fan ever since then, and then I started looking, and you put out the Body Hour
Mhm.
project on YouTube, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
yo, this dude this dude is dope. Yo, like where has he been? Like, why is it not why you ain't, you know what I'm saying, really just blown up out here?
Yeah. Hi
But look,
hiding.
you hiding?
That's what it was. That's what I realized that it is, just hiding.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know what it is. I just be hiding sometimes. I don't like being out in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of push all the talents out there in the spotlight, and then people are like, "All right, well, who's the person? Like, we
Yeah,
talents is
yeah.
cool, but who's the person?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about the person. Just look at this."
Nah, man, like you super dope. Like I ain't even gonna lie, like I'm a huge fan.
That's appreciated.
But so like I used to tell somebody that I used to talk to, I was like, yo, this dude is just insanely talented, and I'm such a huge fan. And it's like, how in the world, like, is it not, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I do believe in timing.
Yeah.
I believe in timing. Timing is everything. So I believe that one day it will happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be usury all over the place, but it's like
Yeah,
timing.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we go through certain things and we you know we get stuck sometimes.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get stuck in our own way.
Yeah. That was definitely me for a good while. I guess because I also had to kind of realize the person that people are seeing as well.
Hmm.
I guess, sometimes you kind of create these different things and it's just like, oh, okay, it's made, and then I throw it somewhere, and then that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's nothing for me to create it, because it does take time, it takes energy and stuff like that, but it's just, to me, I guess it wasn't like spectacular or nothing, because I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, well, it's not this person. It's not this engineer who I've heard. It's not this like rapper that I've seen, or this artist or something like that. So I always just felt like I just had to get better at these things.
Yeah.
So spent a lot of time hiding, trying to get better at everything. Okay, let me try this out. Let me try this out. Let me try this out. Okay, it's not good. Let me put it away and then try it again. And so I guess that's where, I guess now when I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, I am pretty good.
Hmm.
Like, I think it's just from the time away of just like constantly practicing and constantly,
Yeah. Would
yeah.
would you consider yourself?
Do
Oh,
Okay.
go
do you
ahead.
enjoy the process of figuring it out?
Mm.
I think I enjoy the process of figuring it out more. And then once it's figured out, I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. And then I just put it to the side. So
Do
yeah.
you oh man. I do like that question easily. Do you like the
Yeah.
process? Because everything is a process, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, do you enjoy the journey? Period. Are you enjoying the journey? Although it comes with a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
said, we get stuck sometimes, and is the journey right now fulfilling to you?
I'm learning to make it fulfilling for me,
Mm,
because I've been I went to like an artist talk here lately, and they've kind of like, kind of pulled my coattail to the point that I was more so a artist, um what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I do commissions a lot.
mhm,
So I'm never really like doing exactly what it is that I want to do, because I do a lot of commissions. And whenever it starts feeling like work, it's just, it doesn't make me enjoy the journey, even though
mm,
I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool once I look at it a couple days later. But like, I wasn't enjoying that journey there. I think I tried to do the journey with like music and do the performances and do that whole chitlin circuit and all that. And I wasn't enjoying that. So I'm kind of relearning to enjoy all those different parts,
mhm.
and to what extent I'm trying to do everything. So um,
So what would you consider you liking the most? Is it the painting, the drawing, the um what else? You do so much. The animation, the rapping, the singing, the beat making. Which one is
it's
your
like the thing.
yeah.
I think I've always been a storyteller,
Mm,
and that's one of the things I kind of try to remind myself, like, I'm a storyteller before anything else.
mm,
Like, before I really was like getting into the drawing and stuff, I used to get a notebook and I set it down and I just like be writing through the
yeah.
whole book. And so the one that I guess I can't really say I like any of them the most, because they're all kinda different. They all
Mhm.
kinda use, like, a different, like, creative, like, energy. Like, for me, like, drawing and writing, it's more like meditation. Like, you kinda have to get into this meditative state to really start the drawing and
Mhm.
stuff like that, whereas, like, music, it's more of that instant satisfaction type of energy. Like, if I'm playing the keyboard and I do, like, whatever keys or
Yeah.
something like that, I'm hearing it right then and there, and that kinda, like, satisfies that part. And then, the writing is, I mean, the singing, rapping, I do like, it's all like a different energy for me. So I can't really say which one I like the most, because then when I look back on all of them, I'll be like, oh man, this was cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I like this. I like this. And then, yeah,
But I will say, I heard you say you're a storyteller. Whose story is you telling? Like, is it yours? Is it things that inspire you, or is it like where are these stories coming
stories,
from?
the imagination, really.
Mm,
Like, I was a loner for like a large portion of my life. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying, hiding essentially. So a lot of times, I used to watch anime and stuff like that, different cartoons and stuff like that. So I'd be wanting to create my own little worlds of whatever I can think of or something like that, and just try to create those and stuff. Um, Lately for the music, I've been kind of writing about myself a little bit.
Mhm.
It's just the journeys of being a creator. I haven't actually put those out or anything yet, but like I've started like, just kind of talking about the journeys of me being a creator and stuff like that. But the other stories that I've been working on, especially with the animations and stuff like that, it's just I don't know, it's like a feeling that I'm trying to get people to feel
Yeah.
with it. And if I can be able to tell that story to get them to get that feeling, then yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I guess that feeling for me is like when it be like rainy days and you just be like watching like anime or whatever, and you just like got your snacks and stuff like that. Whatever that feeling is that person
Yeah.
has, like I want to be able to like people to feel that.
Mhm. So we know that that's to be thinking.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I do have my project dropping, and you are the artist that's on the project.
Hey,
You know, you're not rapping, you're actually doing a poem on
yeah.
the project. And it's probably one of the best poems that I've heard.
Oh
Like I was
man, you.
listening to it before I got here.
Oh
And
man,
I'm actually happy that you were able to express those things, because the song, I kind of gave you a synopsis of what the song is about,
yeah,
basically life after death,
yeah.
and how I was in this depressive state, and I wrote this note, you know what I'm saying, that I'm trying to end my life, and like you took that song and made something so beautiful. So if you could just, I know by the time this come out, hopefully, the
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 project
the
be out.
project will be out, because I still be thinking, and I'm very critiquish over my stuff. But yeah, that poem, it really, really, really touches me. If you can talk a little bit
About
about
it.
that poem.
Nah, that when you asked me to write the poem, it really came at a good point for myself as well. Cause I think it was around February when you asked
Mm-hmm.
me. And February for me is like, it's a kind of a touching month for me because, that's my mother's birthday and it's her death month as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's when she passed as well. So when you did bring it to me and you was kind of telling me about your story and stuff like that, I kind of just poured a lot of, I guess, what I feel like you were feeling, and then whatever I was feeling on there. So, like, what I'm saying, to be a little candid, when I was writing it, like the whole time, each time I sat down to write it, like it was like therapeutic for me
Yeah.
because, what I'm saying, I'm not to admit that I was bawling a little bit while
Yeah.
writing it, what I'm saying? Like, so that's where I kind of came from, is just, just kind of thinking about what you were saying and then thinking about myself where I'm at as well. I felt like I was at that same point where it's like, what I'm saying? Kinda like in the eye of the storm of life where you're like, man, you can look around and see what you've kinda gained so far, and then, the storm is still coming and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, but, like, just learning to kinda be appreciative of what I have, but also, just being ready for what's coming next as well, so that's the headspace I was
Mm.
in. Yeah.
Man, I wasn't even thinking that. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's the beauty of being an artist. Like, you get to write your own story and create your own narrative of what you think it is.
yeah.
And just to, you talk about that poem, and then you told me, like, recently when we had the show, when I had the album release show, like, you performed it, and I again, I apologize for
Oh,
calling you
nah.
out like that, but
Nah, it's good.
I just felt like this was the perfect moment to you know, give the world that part of you, you know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? And I'm happy you did it, because if I can say this, you got emotional at the show, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah. I stepped outside and I was like, okay, that's my first time like really performing it. So like,
yeah.
I'll be saying in my head sometimes and stuff like that. But actually like, and then I think hearing the trumpets, hearing the band
Yeah.
and everything like that, that was my first time hearing like that version of it. And then I think you kind of switched up the way you were singing it. And I loved the way you did that. So all that was kind of hit me at the same time. And then by the time I got done, I was like, all right, I got to step outside real quick. Man, I stepped outside. It was like people outside. I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
I got to find a spot to go to real quick,
but
man.
I appreciate those moments, because it lets you know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You touching people's lives
Yeah.
and making them feel, period, like feel something. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the beauty of art
Yeah.
and what we do. like whether you're drawing or whatever, but it's like you took something and then you made it into reality. Like you created emotion with it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
do appreciate that. Sorry that I had you crying and everything like
Nah,
that, but it's
nah.
like that is why I do it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? This is why I'm here, for you to realize that I am a person. Like, I have feelings, I
Yeah.
have emotions, and this is real life. And I get to show the world what
Yeah.
that looks like. You know what I'm saying?
That's but I definitely appreciate you asking me to do that because, you know, for the most part, so that project that I made, for the most part, it's just like imagination type stuff. It's something I've been wanting to just make for a little while
Mhm.
or whatever, and then finally got a chance to make it. But like that was the first like thing that I kind of made where it was like I'm actually like seeing the power of like making songs or writing songs and stuff like that. So it kind of changed my whole viewpoint on the way I want to start actually like doing songs and stuff.
Mhm.
It's like, so I had my imagination pieces out first, but now it's like I really want to be able to do more stuff like that where I actually can be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like it pierces through people and really like let them feel it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just like church, man.
yeah.
I grew up in the church, and you know how the Holy Ghost hit you, and you just, people be falling out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Art is kind of like the same way, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, me personally, like, I'm a spiritual person too. Like,
Yeah.
I do believe that. I'm not very religious, but it's like, God has granted me this opportunity, and it's like, God, I just want to show them you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I just want to show the world who you are. And he really just want us to feel. He want us to feel good. He want us to touch people in different ways
Yeah.
and make them feel good about themselves. I think
No,
that
that's
that's what
real.
it's really about. Show that love and everything else
Yeah.
like that. So I told you, I think you're the only other person
Um,
besides Brian, the trumpet player,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, who's on the project. Like,
Oh
just
man.
y'all two
Feel
men,
honored,
you know what
you
I'm
know what I'm
saying? And
saying? Definitely feel honored for that.
yeah, he
Yeah.
blowing that trumpet, and it was significant. It's a significance in the trumpet. Like you said, in the last days, it's gonna be the
Mm.
trumpet blow. So that's why I was like, yo, we gotta get this trumpet in here,
Nah, that's
because that's
cool.
very important. Um,
Nah,
and just
that's
like
real.
we talk about last days, but it's like last days of what of our sorrows, of our pain, and
Yeah.
it's the new beginning. So that poem,
I
that's what I'm saying. This is powerful. I'll put that on you just to say, yo, this is like you're going to be talking about a new beginning. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So because after the trumpet blow is,
It's the new beginning. Okay.
yeah,
Nah, that's cool. The way
yeah,
everything kind of fit like that. I remember when you first showed me like just the snippet of how he started. I was like, oh man, I kind of like that. The way it's
yeah,
just, you know what I'm saying? How he kind of brought everything in. I was like, oh, this is gonna be it right here.
yeah.
So
Production, man. That's something that I always wanted. Even years ago, I was like, man, I need some live instrumentation
yeah.
on that. Easy producing a
Oh
track
yeah,
on the
yeah,
project too. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's the live instrumentation. I got my man Pip. He also plays some keys on the project. So I'm happy about that,
Yeah.
actually making it all come together, creating art, and just, showing people there's different ways to doing this thing. We always don't have to just jump in and just,
Yeah.
it's we putting our emotions, our heart, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Money ain't the only investment
I
that
mean, really.
it's time, it's effort, it's emotion, and the
I know.
things that we do. So
Yeah, I know, I definitely want I guess I heard some people say that they want to make that slow art where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Feel like right now a lot of art is like microwave art, you
mhm.
get it real quick, put it
Yeah.
in, you get it real quick, but that slow art is that one that,
throw
is
that
like food
motherfucker in
for
the
the
oven.
soul, man.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, throw it in the
In the
oven, wait for
crock pot.
yeah. Oh, that's even slower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Definitely want to make that slow art because that slow art is gonna just like it's gonna last, it's gonna have more meaning to it. It's gonna have, even for myself sometimes, and I do be writing sometimes, even when I like listen back, it's almost like something's like speaking through me a
Yeah.
little bit. So
Yeah.
when I listen back, I'm like, man, I didn't even realize how that was kind of tied into that. And so that slow art allows all those different things that you've been thinking about to kind of like congeal and like make
Mhm.
something and yeah, I definitely want to make the slow art and just if it takes a little while for it to come out, cool. But as long when it's out, as long as it stands the test of time,
Yes,
that's the part
time.
that that's the part that I really am kind of shooting for.
Cause I feel like that body hour. I ain't gonna lie, that's one of
Oh,
my best. Yeah. How in the world? Like, how you get that? Like,
I I would tell you like that was like the second rendition of
mm.
that project. Like
Oh wow.
when I first started working on it, I think I was trying to get it out and I had a whole different theme going for it. Then my computer crashed on me. Didn't have nothing backed up. And then so I had to like redo the whole thing. And I
Oh
was
no,
like,
I would have cried. Like easy.
I
I would have cried. It
I'm pretty sure I
would have.
probably did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was trying to have it come out at a certain time, and then once that happened, I was like, "Oh man, I gotta go back to the drawing boards with it."
Yeah.
And I guess I am glad that I did because even though I can mourn what I've heard before, or
Mm.
what I know that it's supposed to be, like what it is now is just something I don't know, just something different.
Yeah, everything happened for a reason, man.
Yeah,
Like, what if you would have put that out? You probably wouldn't have, had the same effect
yeah.
as it is now. Cause I promise you, man, like that body hour, that's really in the
Oh
playlist for
man.
real. Like, not just the song, but just like the animation period. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like, I'm a counselor and I try to, put some of my students on your like I do. I put them onto your artwork on
Oh
your
yeah,
project. And it's like, y'all see like this can happen. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? This is what you can do. And I even recently went to a panel at Benedict where you did a animation panel, you
Oh
and
yeah.
another artist. How was that, man?
That was an experience. That was first time doing anything like that. It's a lot of first times that's been happening for this
Mm,
year, you know what I'm saying? So that was my first time doing that. And that was an experience that, you know what I'm saying, I definitely wanna keep doing. Like
yeah,
that it was different. It was different. And then it was cool being able to see like the people that did come through to like, you know what I'm saying, to be I guess like I don't say to witness it, but like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, to just be in the class and stuff like that. And that was something.
You believe you stepping outside of your own realm, like you stepping outside of yourself,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. Like last year before that, I did not see myself doing any of these things here,
yeah.
like at all. I think other people might have seen it,
Mm,
before me. That's the thing. Even with the animation that I worked on, like, yeah, people
yeah.
people Ben was like, oh yeah, man. Like I've been hearing it for a while. Like, oh yeah, you gotta put that animation to. You gotta put your
Mm,
animation to the music. And I'm like, oh yeah, I get there. I get there. So like all of this has been a big step outside of my comfort zone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, man? Like let's talk about what's next because this you got the music, you got the art, like everything. Like so, what's next for
What's
you?
next? That's a good question, yo. That's a really good
You
question.
got people asking you about mentorships, like how can you be their sons' mentors and stuff like. So what's next, man?
Um, really the biggest I have really like the biggest things I'm trying to do right now is um I know I want to do more of these like animation seminars. Like that's something that after that event, well, really kind of before that animation workshop I kind of did, that was something I was kind of just going through my mind or whatever. And then once it actually like happened, I was like, oh, okay, I got to
Mm,
do this. So like, want to do more of the animation workshops, be able to just show kids and stuff like that. Especially like the teenagers and stuff. Like we there's so much different aspects to like art and just that you can just do. Like what I'm saying. So it like person doesn't have to just be like the rapper or just a producer. You got the people that's engineers and stuff that's getting paid before the
yeah,
rapper and
yeah,
all that. You got
yeah,
people that's just doing so many other parts of of the creation process. So I know I want to do like these animation seminars eventually, hopefully get it to where it can be like an actual like an expo. Get it, so they can have like exposure to like just different art forms, whether it is playing instruments or piano or anything like that. And so that's one thing that I definitely want to start kind of getting off the ground, especially 2024. And the other thing right now is trying to work on my animated short. I want to make a little teaser.
yeah,
I know I've been kind of talking about it for a while, but life does its thing sometimes. And it kind of have to grow a little bit before you get to that next step. So now I think I've kind of gone through that process, and it's more of a solid thing for me now. So like, want to make this animated teaser to try to like actually, get it to become an actual like show. I think that was one of my first passions like ever. Was like, oh, I want to make an animated like. Back then it was an anime. I just wanted to make an anime because
Yeah.
that's But now it's like I just I want something to where I don't know exactly the demographic, but I just want to make that. So that's the biggest things that I have on my plate right now. I do want to jump into the music headspace, and it's just I gotta put a little bit on myself at a time.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
of the things that I kind of learned from back when I was figuring things out. Like I gotta take some things off my plate so that therefore I can finish that up and then go to the next thing. So
Yeah. I gotta ask you, like, because the panel that I went to, the other guy, he went to SCAD. I still don't know what SCAD is. I should have researched it, but I
mhm.
don't know what it is. Um, did you go to college?
Yeah. I went to a very SCAD was on my list to go to, but I
Okay.
went to a crappy school, Westwood College.
Nah, don't say that on the mic in
Westwood
Westwood.
is not they're not even around anymore.
Oh
So
wow.
so
Okay.
like yeah, they're not even around anymore. I'm trying to be I'm gonna say cheap. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, college costs a lot. Let me try to be cheap with it. And like, don't be cheap with it. Like, if you're gonna go to school, you're gonna have that debt anyway.
Mhm.
So go ahead and go to the school that you want to go to because that debt is gonna follow you anyway. So trying to be cheap with it, found some school that, because animation wasn't really taught
Mhm.
here in South Carolina or Columbia really. And so I was like, all right, I can go to Atlanta. I get away from get away from my parents or whatever,
Yeah.
get away from, the people that I know already. Let me just kind of start off anew. So I went to Westwood and yeah,
What was your major?
it was an animation.
Okay. Yeah, because I asked that because I often tell kids you don't have to go to college in order to do what you love, like to fulfill
Yeah,
your purpose. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Me, I mean, I'm a counselor, but it's like if I ain't had to go to school to do this, I promise you, I wouldn't
You wouldn't
have.
have
I
gone.
probably wouldn't have gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what you went for?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sociology, and then I went for counseling.
Okay.
But I'm trying to work it where, I'm doing many things with it. Of course, like I'm trying to tie it into the art, the music and stuff
Mm,
like that. That's where the Vulnerability Project even like came about. And then through the Vulnerability Project came the Blocklist podcast.
okay.
Because it was one of the songs off the project,
Oh, okay.
and now
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the the project turned into actually a talking show about
That's
people talking
cool.
about their feelings and being able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's like everything ties in with the
Yeah.
music and the counseling because this degree got to be used somewhere. Like
Yeah,
it ain't,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm paying for it. USC is making me pay a pretty penny for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's all good. Like I appreciate the process. But
Yeah.
yeah, I tell these kids you ain't got to do that. Just draw.
It's especially now.
Hmm.
Like when I was going to school, like I know this new program just came out, Procreate Dream, that's gonna make animations the easiest it's have ever
Hmm.
been to like really animate. And like when I was going to school, like it was not to age myself or whatever, but it was called Macromedia Flash that was out.
Okay.
And I hated that program so
Yeah.
much because it wasn't really an animation program. It was more like a web design type of program that they use to make animations in.
Hmm.
And and then so by the time I actually like graduated or whatever, I think Instagram was really kind of coming out.
Mm.
And school kind of taught me more so how to be an animator in someone else's uh like basically how to be I don't want to say a cog in a wheel, but
Yeah.
essentially how
Yeah.
to be a cog in a wheel. It didn't really teach you how to like be your own thing, be your own like animator and stuff like that. So by the time I actually graduated from there, it was like Instagram is out, all the middlemen are gone. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like you can basically post up your animations and then people be like, oh, go straight to you and be like, okay, what's how much it is to do this and how much
Hmm.
it is to do that. So it kind of had to make me like rethink my whole thing because I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be an animator in someone else's thing. Like, even though, the dream job
Yeah.
was working at was Turner Broadcasting with Adult Swim and all them.
Yeah.
that was the dream job. But then I was like, I don't want to make somebody else's stuff. I want
Yeah,
to make my
yeah.
own stuff, But now, man, YouTube University, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Nah, YouTube is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
YouTube. I think you got Patreon too. You got what are some other platforms? I know
Uh,
YouTube is probably like the main one that you can really.
YouTube's the main one. I mean, you can get some of like Udemy. You can kind of like get specialized like courses and stuff.
Mm,
It's a couple other things like that. But YouTube, you can't, because you can always find somebody. Like sometimes you find somebody that doesn't explain it too well for you,
mm-hmm.
but then you might find somebody that really like knows how to explain it to where it's like, oh, it clicks for you. And
It's like you can shop
yeah,
for a vessel to get the information, whatever type of information you want.
Yeah.
Oh, nah,
yeah,
he's speaking my
yeah,
language.
Yeah. Let
yeah,
me go somewhere else.
They talking too proper.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
exactly.
painting the picture right here. I can see it. Yeah, like
You see
YouTube.
it,
That's what YouTube did. And anything you want to know, I'm with you.
absolutely.
YouTube University.
Yeah.
But nah, man, that's good. I hope that you continue making your animation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very interesting. And then even the way that you do it, like everything, tying the music in, like really giving it that pop, that flavor. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? Because like you see by the hour and it's like, oh man, like he really took us there. It's not like a normal video where people just be, in the camera, but it's like this is the first time I seen like a real live like animation,
Mm.
something different, and it came out of here right here in Columbia. That's why I'm so happy to know
Yeah,
you, because
oh
it's like,
man.
man, once you surround yourself around people like that, like for real, ain't no way you gonna be stopped.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, you really tapping into a whole nother dimension. So
Definitely
that's really
appreciate that.
good. Um,
Yeah, definitely
I
appreciate
think
that.
we've been talking for a little minute, like 40
About 40.
minutes. All right, you got anything you want to say? Anything you want to tell the people? Like what kind of advice? Anything you want to give me? Like what kind of
Kinda
Tell
advice you want
Tony
to
about
give me?
herself.
advice.
Yeah, tell me.
Nah, like I really do admire like the things like how you're moving and stuff like
Mm,
that. And like I know you appreciate the arts and stuff that I be doing, but I really don't be feeling like I be moving the way I need to be moving. So
mhm.
like when I be seeing you, even for the day, when you was like, oh yeah, you want to do a podcast shoot for
Yeah.
the day, like how on it you be, like that's appreciated because it shows me how to kind of step outside of, I'm used to being inside surrounded by all my little art stuff and stuff like that. So making all the stuff is like, it's the fun part and stuff. But the real hard part for me is actually getting outside of that box and really getting out into like what I call the world
Yeah.
and really moving and grooving out here. So every time I be seeing you like either on stage or whether like the videos that you got out or whether you get the band together to actually make the song, I'm like, yo, that's how I gotta be moving. This is how I gotta be able to like, make the connections and stuff with people and stuff like that. So I be watching the way that how you be kind of, getting out there and getting your art out there,
Mm,
or even just, I'm used to being like an island artist. So like I'm just a solo artist or whatever, but like how you are able to, have other people with you to create the art that you're trying to create. Like that's
mm.
I admire that, man. I really, really do. Like,
I mean, just having them other people to just be themselves. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Creating that space to where letting people value themselves and
yeah,
value just what they do, period. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Show that love. Just be a light in the room. Just be you, man. You really a
yeah.
light for real, cause
Oh, that's
like you really bring a lot to just the artistry, period. So
yeah.
and we appreciate you. You know what I'm
Hey, that's
saying? Like I
appreciated.
said, you the first guest for season 2.
Hey, I appreciate being appreciated.
I
Like,
think I hit on some good stuff. Um, yeah, at least I think
yeah,
so. You know what I'm saying? If
yeah.
there's more, I'm bringing you back. So
Okay, okay. I don't think I have any like parting words or anything like that. Like,
I want
you
to
know what
share
I'm
something.
saying?
It's this
Mhm,
jazz bass player from, I want to say Brazil's name, Abraham Laboriel or something like that. But the
mhm,
OG said, our art means nothing without someone to share it with. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? And I just wanted to,
Mm.
it was on my heart to say that.
Come on, we got the last words from Easyola.
But you was like, our
That's
art means
real.
nothing without someone to share it with.
Nah, that's
Yeah,
real.
appreciate it. That's it, man. That's all I got. We ending it just like that.
That's what it is.